So we're doing another lens review. Today we're talking about the Sigma 85mm F1.4. It is a beast and it's a beautiful lens and it's wonderful. So first thing that everyone wants to know about an 85mm 1.4 is depth of field and the bokeh and how good it is for portraits. Essentially, that's one of the most important things when it comes to this sort of lens. This lens is designed for portraits and it's beautiful for portraits. It's wonderful. It's got an incredibly shallow depth of field. It does make it sometimes a little bit tricky at 1.4 to be able to catch the eyes absolutely sharp. I've had enough photographs where it's just the depth of field is so shallow you just missed the eye, but actually it's easy to use, it focuses beautifully and it just produces beautiful results. For portraits, absolutely stunning. But it's also that depth of field is fantastic. I got this, actually, I had a 105 2.8 macro that I just wasn't using the macro very much on it. So I decided to kind of go in two directions. I got a 70 to 200 2.8 and then I got this 85 1.4. And actually, I use them both. I use them both a lot in slightly different areas, but this 85 1.4, it's just, that depth of field is incredible. So for a lot of my flower, portraiture, floral work, nature work, that depth of field just is incredible. Focusing, again, sometimes you really have to check, and actually using it on a tripod to be able to check the focus it makes it a bit easier. But with most modern cameras, the autofocus is good enough that it's going to be absolutely fine. It will catch it right anyway. But it's also, being 85mm, slightly telefocal, slightly telephoto. So actually I use it for sort of landscape type stuff and forest work and various other bits and pieces. And that, again, that depth of field, even at a distance, to be able to pick out individual planes of focus is phenomenal. One of the other advantages of the 1.4 is its light gathering capabilities. So in low light environments, such as in forests or at night or inside in candlelit environments, it really can capture quite amazing details at relatively low ISOs. There are a couple of downsides to this. This is a meaty lens, and even if I take the lens hood off, put it in its thing, that is not a small lens. I do not have small hands, and it's a proper handful. Finding space for it in my camera bag has been a little bit tricky because it's significantly bigger than any of my other lenses. So I have had to make its own space in the camera bag. And it's heavy, and I'll check exactly what the weight of this is, but it's heavy enough that you don't want to have it on your camera the whole time. So if you've seen one of my earlier reviews I was talking about, I wanted to replace, I had a 50mm 1.4 that I used for my old camera that, because it was the old autofocus system, sorry I bashed the microphone there, because it was the old autofocus system, it didn't work with the Z camera. It's the F to Z adapter doesn't work with that autofocus system. So I wanted to get a new autofocus portrait lens, and I tried out the 50mm Z 1.8, which was a lovely, wonderful lens, but because I am still using the D500 occasionally, I needed something that could kind of switch between the two. I looked at a few other lenses as well. The Sigma 50 1.4 was also beautiful and smaller than this. And actually what I ended up getting initially as a stopgap for it was a 50mm 1.8, the newer Nikon version, but the F version, not the Z version. That is a tiny lens. You put the two of them together, it's a tiny, tiny lens, and it's a fraction of the price. Like this is an expensive lens. The 50 1.8 is a much cheaper lens. I'm going to do a full review on that, but actually I used them both. This was something that I thought initially the 50 1.8 was going to be a stopgap, but actually for carrying it around normally, if I'm going out for a full day of photography, unless I know that I'm going to need this, I just take the 50 1.8 and it works brilliantly. If I'm going to be doing portrait, if I'm going to be just carrying, so today I went out for a walk in the woods and I just took the 85 1.4 and it was brilliant because I only had to carry one camera and one lens, but it's a heavy lens to add. It's just a lot of glass. It is beautifully made, it's solid, it's secure, it's got a very large filter thread, 86, so it's a big filter thread, massive hood. And as always, I quite like the Sigma lens caps and rear lens caps and all those sorts of things. It's, yeah, a beautifully large focusing ring. And it's all the focus by wire stuff where it's manual, automatic override. But it is beautiful. It is wonderful. It's just heavy. And that's where you need to think, is this something that you want to have to carry around with you a lot? It also is big on the camera. When you see it on the camera, it's not a subtle lens. I don't think you could get away with this for street photography, for example. People are going to notice that they've got a massive piece of glass staring at them. Because it's, yeah, I only recently realized how the F numbers, the aperture numbers were actually calculated. So yeah, you can see it's a massive bit of glass. Unfortunately, it's stopped the aperture right down at the moment, so it doesn't actually look as big as it is, but yeah, take it from me, that's got an email. That's a big bit of glass. So the F system works. I think I need to look into this properly, but the idea is compared to the length of it, compared to the actual diameter of the piece of glass. So 1.4 means that it's 85 divided by 1.4, which would be, maths, probably about 60, I think, maybe slightly more than that, maybe 50, well, slightly less than that, 50, but essentially that bit of glass that lets in light is huge. So that's why this is a massive, heavy piece of glass. A 50mm 1.4 has just significantly less glass in it, and a 50mm 1.8 even less, so it's much lighter and easier to carry. So yeah, fundamentally, it's a beautiful lens. It's a really, really lovely lens to use. It focuses easily and sharply and quietly. I've used it for video work as well. Hitting the focus, so where it works really well is in a stationary shot like this. So at the moment I'm using a 50 1.8 on here, but I've used the 85 1.4 regularly for some of the corporate talking head shots that I've got, and it just looks so good because it really does just focus on the eyes, and particularly if you've got a good autofocus system like you have in the Z6, it just looks gorgeous. So the video work has been fantastic with it, photographs are beautiful with it. If you have the money, there aren't many better lenses that you can get for this purpose. And that's the thing, it's I heard somebody say the other day, people talk about what's the best lens, and there is no one best lens. It's what's the best lens for the purpose that you want to get. And for me, for my flower portraiture, for my portraiture, even for some of my sort of slightly telephoto landscapes, this is brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. But it comes with the trade-off that it is heavy and it's bulky and it takes up quite a lot of space in your camera bag. And it's expensive. So it's just weighing up whether it's worth going for it, whether it will do for you what you want it to do. If it does, that's a beautiful lens. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're staying sane in your isolation. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more reviews and various other camera bits. And thank you very much. Bye bye.